Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
That's a version which we are trying of 6.0. But yeah, we have these are the stable release, expecting release. In upgrade sessions, fourth day, we'll discuss about how do we migrate, how do we set up a 5.4, and from there how do we migrate, upgrade to 6.0 also. So that also I'll show you. So these are the sum up. Why Zabbix? Because it's enterprise ready, mature enterprise level platform to monitor large scale IT environment, unlimited scalability, distributed monitoring, high availability, and strong security we have. And all in one solutions you can find in the Zabbix. For example, data collections, trend predictions, problem detections, automatic actions, distributed monitoring, agent-based monitoring, service check, encryption, anomaly detection, Zabbix API support, scalability, visualization through the graphs and dashboard, auto discovery, event correlation, alerting, centralized management, maintenance, easy maintenance, trigger dependencies, IoT and embedded, both supported, escalations management, user management, integration with the third-party authentication tools, agentless monitoring, and many more. So everything, whatever you are looking for enterprise problems in one monitoring solution, and that's your Zabbix. Yes, it is monitoring every part of your infrastructure, including hardware, network, operating system, middleware, virtual layer, application, and cloud resources. Everywhere you can set up this. Everything you can monitor using Zabbix. So if you want to know specific about which network, servers, databases, clouds, storage, service, these are some of them, not everything. So now with that, we need to know basically, okay, Zabbix is having so many features, but how Zabbix works? What is the Zabbix architecture? So that we need to understand. So before that, any questions anyone have? Anyone? So let's understand the architecture of Zabbix and how Zabbix works. So as part of the architecture, Zabbix has multiple components. Okay, one of the components which we have is Zabbix server. Okay, and another one we have a database storage for storing all the configurations and matrices and all, and web interface. The interface using that we can access and stuff like that and work on it. So Zabbix server is a central component to which agent report availability and integrity information and statics. Yes, remember, it's very important to understand. When we say Zabbix server, typically we think it's like a web interface, but no. Zabbix server is another component which is running separately, and basically Zabbix agent talk to the server directly, not the interface. Human talk to the interface, web interface, okay? But agent and all directly query the server for the pushing and pulling operations. Okay, so server is a central repository for all configurations. All configuration. That means whatever the configurations you make a changes here, it's everywhere. Everything you store basically you have it in a server itself. Okay, and it has a statical and operational data are stored. Now, second component which we have is database. So of course, for any enterprise monitoring solutions, you need a persistency of the data. You want to store the persistent data. So if you don't have a data, then how can you have that historical graphs and all stuff like that, users, permissions, and blah blah blah. Lots of things are there actually. So yes, Zabbix architecture, as part of Zabbix architecture, you have a database also, where all the configurations information as well as data gathered by the Zabbix is stored in the database. Okay, so anything you modify like template, host, graphs, problems, logs, everything is stored in the database, and configuration are stored in a server, but data is stored in the database, and any data which is gathered by the agent also, which is stored in the database. Now, third component we have is web interface. Web interface is like, you can say, is like a website. So website also queries server itself. I repeat, server. So for easy access to Zabbix from anywhere, like a website from any platform, the web-based interface is provided. The interface is part of Zabbix server and usually, but not necessarily, run on the same physical machine as the one running the server. So this interface actually you can run in a different server also. But today the one which we will try is it will be in the same server. The database server also it can be in a different server, different separate physical machine or virtual machines, but today we'll have in the same server and the server. So these all are a distributed architecture. That means these you can have it in one server also, server and database and interface. You can have it in separate server also linked together. So that is possible. So these are the three major components. Apart from that, we do have a proxy and agent. Okay, so proxy it can basically act like a Zabbix server only, but for the receiving the data from the behind the firewall, or maybe if your server is having high uses, and then also proxy can be used to lower the the load on server. So Zabbix proxy can collect performance and availability data on behalf of Zabbix server. It's like behalf of Zabbix server, proxy can be set up. A proxy is an optional part of Zabbix deployment. However, it may be very beneficial to distribute the load of a single Zabbix server. So proxy will set it up tomorrow, no, day after tomorrow, we'll set it up. Third day, we'll set up a proxy. Last one more component which we have here in this slide is agent. We have discussed agent a lot also. So this component basically fetch the data from the devices, and then now the devices can be your operating system, servers, and network devices also, or something like that. So here this agent is also two type of agent. One is a Zabbix agent 1 and Zabbix agent 2. We have discussed Zabbix agent 1, the older version, which is written in C language, and the second one which we are talking about, the new version, Zabbix agent 2, which is written in Go language. Okay, so that is a stuff. So Zabbix agent are deployed on monitoring targets, the server which you want to monitor, to actively monitor local resources. Local resources means Apache, Tomcat, Java, or CPU, RAM, disk storage, network load, and all this information is resources of the server and applications, and report the data, gather data to Zabbix server. So as part of the Zabbix infrastructure, Zabbix architecture, we have a server, database storage, web interface, proxy, and agent. Okay, now how it works, we'll have to visualize that through the images. So look at this image. See here, that's a user, that can be you and me, and we talk to interface. Okay, and interface again talk to what? Query the database, Zabbix server, and Zabbix server take all the data from, it can be insert and pull and push all the data from the database, and Zabbix server get the data, and again you see that agent can push and pull, both the ways possible. Okay, we'll discuss in a little bit detail later on that. And so agent can send the data directly to Zabbix server, and Zabbix server stored in the database, and from the database web interface take the data, and we can view that. Now, if you see the top part, here is the proxy also. So if you have too much of load on Zabbix server, So agent can send the data to proxy also, and it can be pull and push both the model. Again, Zabbix proxy from there, Zabbix server can push and pull the data. Are you able to understand this? How this works? All of you?
Yes.
Yes, right.
Yeah. So we need to set up Zabbix server, database, interface, agent, and proxy. All these things we have to set up, and then we can work from the web interface. Let's look at this Zabbix server in detail. So Zabbix server is the central processes of Zabbix software. So what are the other features which you have? So the server perform the pooling and trafficking of data. It calculate triggers. Now, what is the triggers? We'll discuss in a little bit of time span. So it calculate triggers. In the triggers for timing, you can say it's like a kind of threshold, okay, to detect the problems for timing, okay, and send notification to users. So the server only calculate the trigger and send notification to the user. It is a central component to which Zabbix agent and proxy report data on availability and integrity of the system. Okay, so Zabbix agent and proxy both share the data of the server. The server can itself remotely check network services. See here, this is important. Server also can check the services, network services, remote network services. Also, it can do that, such as web servers, email servers using simple service check. The server is a central repository in which all configuration. When I say configuration means we have lots of host configuration, host group, templates, triggers, many other stuff, events, actions, many stuff we do that, reports, SLAs, and statistical and operational data is stored. And it is the entity in the Zabbix that will actively alert administrator when problem arise in any of the monitor system. The functions of Zabbix, basic Zabbix server is broken into three distinct components. They are Zabbix server, web frontend, and database storage, which we discussed. Now, Zabbix agent is deployed on the monitoring target. Agent we deploy in the target like a Linux server, Windows server, CentOS server. There we install the agent. Why we install agent over there? Because we want to get the data from that server. What data? CPU, RAM, storage, HTTP call of Apache, Tomcat, or less Nginx, or MySQL database. The application where we run, so we want to monitor the server. So Zabbix agent is deployed on a monitoring target to actively monitor local resources and application. Okay, the agent gather operational information locally and reports data to Zabbix server for the further processing. In case of failure, such as hard disk running full or crashed services process, Zabbix server can actively alert the administrator of the particular machine that reported the failure. So all this thing will be done by Zabbix agent, reported back to the server, and then get the data. Proxy, again, Zabbix proxy is a process that may collect monitoring data from one or more monitor devices and send the information to Zabbix server. Monitoring devices can be your agent, it can be agentless also. Okay, essentially working on behalf of the server. All collected data is buffered locally. I repeat, in a proxy, all collected data is buffered locally and then transferred to the Zabbix server for the proxy belongs. Deploying a proxy is optional. Why we deploy? Primarily two reasons. One is load for Zabbix server is too high, so we want to have a other servers too for collections, data collections. And second one it can be firewall issues. Server and agent, there is no direct connect, so in between we set up a proxies. So that's one primarily two reasons are there. So deploying a proxy is optional, but may be very beneficial to distribute the load of a single Zabbix server. If only proxy collect data, processing on the server becomes less CPU and disk, IO, hungry, and software. Okay. So we have discussed, I guess, this one prior also.
So I have one question. So proxy is also it's for only for a loads distributing, right?
Yes. So see, server will collect the data, right? And
So we
processing
can't
the data.
directly, can't the agent will directly communicate to Zabbix servers. We need proxy. It's compulsory or it's for its distributing load. There were we are using this proxy.
No, 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 no. You see that here. This images will give you the all pictures. See here. Agent can pull and push directly from the server. You see the below one, below two, correct now?
Yes.
But you can have a proxy. Now the question is, why do we need a proxy? Primarily for two reasons. One is like, let's say you have 200, 300 agent. If you directly configure with the Zabbix proxy, Zabbix server, Zabbix servers might not able to handle that load. That's the one thing. Because
Okay,
not
it
only
may
pulling and
crash.
pushing, yeah, not only pulling and pushing, but also it processes the data, which transforming we call it in monitoring world. Okay, so that also is being done by Zabbix server. So to outsource that processing work, collections and processing, okay, transforming, the Zabbix server is Zabbix proxy is being used. So now what will happen? Let the Zabbix proxy take all the data from the agent, different agent, and then Zabbix server will pull at a certain time, maybe hourly, 30 minutes or something. It can be set anything, whatever. One more thing, sometimes what happens between the agent and Zabbix server, there is a no direct connect. That means through the network, there's a network limitation. That means both the server they cannot talk to each other because of
Direct.
network limitation. Both are in different server or maybe different data centers, different regions, or something like that. So what we do, we can't allow all the agent, understand the simple logic. We can't allow all the logic to be accessed, all the agent to be accessible by the server because of security concern. Or maybe server also should not be accessible by all the agents. So what we do in order to set up a security and all the agents should not be accessible by the server, Zabbix server, but we set up a proxy in the same network and we only expose the proxy and Zabbix server to each other. Routing, we do that and make it available. So that way you can minimize the risk of security. Are you understand?
Yes.
Rajesh, one more question. How
Yeah.
many Zabbix proxy servers we can use for
As
one Zabbix?
as many. There is no depends on your use cases. There's no need for using too many proxies because if the loads are not high on the server, if the server loads are high, then you can keep incrementing the number of proxies. Depends on your use cases.
Okay, how much servers we can use for one proxies?
How much?
Server we can monitor through one proxy server.
In the sense, object she was talking about the how much
Okay,
agents can be connected
okay,
to.
okay. Yeah, so that's I don't have any number actually. I feel there's no as such limitation. You can configure any number of agent with the proxy. Again, it depends on the push and pull mechanism. So let's say you are pushing the data, so you can push to the n number of things. Hello.
Yeah, Rajesh. Then for load balance, we are using proxies, Zabbix proxy, right? Then there should be some limitation, I guess.
No. Load balancing is a different concept altogether. See here, load balancing, what you are doing. No, sorry, I am not able to understand your question. Which load? You see, server load balancing is a different concept. Proxy we use to
Yeah,
balance.
I know. My
Yeah.
question is for Zabbix server, we are using proxy to balance the load, right?
Yes, not balance the load. I would say I'll put it in this way.
Yeah, just
Yeah, yeah.
redistributing the work of Zabbix.
Yes, yeah. So distributing the pulling and pushing, basically, I would put it in this way: data collections. Data collection. That's the one point, primary areas. For that, we use a proxy. So not server should push and pull all the data from all the nodes, all the agents. So we use a proxy. Now, second region, which has a security firewall and all related issues. Now, how many agents you can use a proxy? To be honest, I have not come across any limitation as such. How many proxies you can add Zabbix server, I don't have any numbers because I have not come across any as such limitations. So that means you can set it up. It depends on the pull and push. You can set it up as many you want it. Make sense?
And for which proxy not be push and pull?
Sorry, your voice is breaking. Can you please repeat this question one more time?
In the diagram, you have shown one Zabbix proxy is for push and one Zabbix proxy is for pull, right?
Yes.
Can a single Zabbix proxy can act both push and pull?
Okay. This answer I will hold it. Yes, your answer. I mean, your answer, a straightforward answer. Yes, it is can be used for the push and pull both, but different port. I understand this way. Understand this way. There is a port number which we need to understand for the agent and for the proxy and for the server on which the data is being pulled and pushed. Okay, so Zabbix proxy also enables some ports. So on that port, agent will push the data. But if you want the pulling, then agent has to enable that port. From there, proxy or server will pull the data. Okay, so that is a mode of communication we'll discuss in some time. But just straightforward answer, yes, that is possible.
Rakesh, Rajesh, in a series, can we put two proxy?
You can put as many proxies actually here.
No, I'm talking about suppose maybe the question is totally wrong, but still I want to ask. So I'm thinking about that server is the point one, okay, Zabbix server.
Mm-hmm.
Then there is a proxy, and then there is another proxy. So the third proxy will collect the information and send it to the proxy number 2, and the proxy number will 2 will get that data and send it to the Zabbix. Is it possible?
Okay, so basically you are asking two proxy.
Yeah.
Theoretically, see, I have not tried this configuration. Theoretically possible. Technically, I need to check. I mean, because see, when I look at the push and pull, it's just the end point. Understand that? Let me put it in this way. This is just an end point. Just MS Paint. Let's say this is a one server. Okay. This is a one server. Now here we have a one agent. This is another server. And as per your discussion, here I am setting up the proxy. Here one more server is there. And here also I'm setting up proxy. And here one more server is there. This is our server, Zabbix server. Now your question is, what about this proxy will pull, or this agent will push the data? Is it possible? Yes, that is possible. Now this proxy and this proxy, well, whether it can pull and push, theoretically, yes. Configuration, I mean, I have not tried this because hardly we see this, hardly you have this scenario, but theoretically I would say yes. Why I'm saying yes? Because proxy has this buffer and the data which is in the same format which this proxy also need it. And this server also can need it. So yes, theoretically this you're pushing to here, and from here you're pushing and pulling here. That's possible theoretically. But this one, I know that and I've tried, and this for sure it will work.
Okay. No, because we have the multiple applications so monitoring in place for the different things like a network, like a storage. So I'm thinking that if we bring the data in a such a way that the different mechanism, the different application will collect the information to respect to Zabbix server, and that only the one Zabbix server send all the information, all that network information to the directly to the server instead of connecting all the proxies to the directly to the server, Zabbix server.
Yeah, what you can do, a proxy you can configure the multiple host, different endpoints, and let this collect the data, and from the proxies should send to the server at a certain interval, or maybe server can pull it also. So that way it will be easier and make more meaningful actually. Okay. So now this is the primary. We have a server, database, interface, DevOps proxy, and agent. Okay, now we have discussed this one. Server, proxy, and agent is written in C. Agent 2 is written in Go. Front end, the one web part is written in PHP, and Java Gateway is the one product which I have not discussed so far, which is written in Java. And database is any RDBMS supported, except the MS SQL. I repeat, MySQL support is there, Postgres support is there. So MS SQL I have not seen in the list. Okay, so now we have to discuss a little bit of how Zabbix works. So now see that here, the same thing, more or less we have discussed. For the formalities, we'll complete this. So we talk to web server, okay, and web server talk to the database server for getting all the details what you see on the dashboard of data. And how this database server get the data? So through the Zabbix server. Okay, agent talk to the Zabbix server. Remember that agent and proxy. Okay, look at this here again, same image, but little bit elaborated. See here, all the devices and servers, like which is see the server, switches, router, and firewalls, different firewalls through agent and agentless send the data to the server directly or through proxy to the server. Mode of the communication can be push and pull. The port number I'll come back in sometime. Just give me some time. So the push and pull. Now the Zabbix server store the data from the in the database, and then from that interface, web interface, and from there we see that. Are we comfortable with this? How it works, you know, all of you? Hello.
Yes, Rajesh. Hello. Hi,
Yeah.
Rajesh.
Yeah.
Hello. Am I audible,
Yeah,
Rajesh?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Actually, I have a different scenario. So can you please explain it once?
Yeah.
Actually, if we installed a new Zabbix proxy server and Zabbix proxy, it was a communicating with the server. And actually, then we installed the setup for an agent to monitor itself for the proxy, and the agent installed running, it was getting successful on flow. And the main thing is that if in error it shows that no active checks on the server. So what was the defined? What the server was not found on the front end, the host. What was the exactly for this purpose scenario? So what we why we get this kind of error?
See, at the high level, what I have understood from your question, see, your setup is maybe correct. You have set up, but you did not apply the template, which includes the items. An item is basically a check. So now the question is, what is item? What is a template? And where to define? This is a discussion points, which is upcoming session. But I think your configuration is correct, but you have to enable the checks actually. So let me draw pictures if I understood you correctly. You are saying, hey,
On
this is a
server, that yeah, exactly. No active checks on server. That's all.
yeah. So this is a server and this is a proxy and this is an agent. Okay.
Okay.
So maybe your agent is installed in this machine only. And using this agent, you are monitoring the proxy services. Okay. Is that correct? Correct, no?
Correct.
Yeah, so this is the one. So now this agent, theoretically, the flow will be this agent will send the data to proxy and proxy will send the data to server. Now the problem here is this agent is detecting the proxy, but what check has to be done that you have not informed at the server level. So that's the reason configuration, this agent has not got the configuration what to check. So that check has to be configured at the server level, and that's called template items and all. We'll discuss that one. That's the missing part, which probably I feel you have not configured.
Okay. Maybe it was a scenario, or maybe probably it was a main thing, so it was happened, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, guys, look at this here. Same image, but little bit different scenarios. See here, see different representation. You talk to the web server talk to the database. Again, Zabbix server also talk to the database. Zabbix server receive all the data from the proxy and proxy. You see, setup had a multiple agent, multiple server. So now I think this image also.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.
Hello everyone, if you would like to access the remaining videos of this playlist of 50 plus more tools which are coming under DevOps, DevSecOps, SRE, DataOps, GitOps, etc. Kindly become our channel members by clicking on the joining button. You would have access to 100s of playlists and 1000s of videos lifetime access with this membership. Enjoy.